Hi everybody, it's Mr. E from Art with Mr. E. Hello there. And I thought we would go ahead and do another turtle today. As I told you, Mr. E loves turtles. Now, for today, we're going to start with a pencil, but then we'll move on to a Sharpie. And we talked about how the shell of a turtle is just an oval. And the head is an oval shape. But I'm going to go ahead and do this with Sharpie to show you. But I always encourage young artists to start with pencil because you can erase a pencil mark. You cannot erase a Sharpie mark. Alright? So please do start with a pencil and then move on to a Sharpie. Now, please get your parents' permission and have something underneath your paper that if for some reason you're pushing too hard or linger a little bit on a certain spot, that Sharpie starts bleeding through. You don't want it to get on your table or wherever you're working. So have something underneath. I have a plastic tablecloth under here right now, but you could have a mat or even another piece of paper or a piece of newspaper would work. So we do the oval shape for the shell, oval shape for the head. The legs, the front flippers, are kind of like a triangular shape. And today I kind of did them a little more triangular than I did yesterday. And then of course the little tail, little wiggly triangle right there. Now your turtle shell, you can really do it any way you want. This can be a very imaginative turtle. If you want to give it a theme, you can. Like maybe it's Sleepy Time Turtle. And you could do a moon and some stars. Like I said, you can do anything you want in the shell. You can make it look kind of like more of like a real turtle if you want, or you can have fun and come up with some kind of theme. You know what a theme is, right? It would be like if I did bananas, an apple, a strawberry, my theme would be fruit. If I did a basketball, a football, a baseball bat, it would be sports. So you could do any kind of theme on the shell that you might want. It'd be kind of fun to do that and then have people guess. So then I'm just going to connect the objects with the shell. Because turtle shells are very connected. They're like in plates. So we're going to connect our objects to the turtle shell. It's almost like a stained glass window in a way. Kind of cool. Blink. How many ever you want. It's up to you. You decide. And then if you want to put waves in the background, or maybe you want to put bubbles in the background instead of doing wavy marks, you could do bubbles. It's your turtle. You decide what you want to do. You want to do zigzags? You could do zigzags or anything. As long as you're creating and having fun. Like that. But like I said, I would do it with pencil first and then trace it with Sharpie. Just make sure when you trace it with Sharpie that there's something underneath it. Then I'm going to switch over to how we're going to add color to our picture. Well, one of the ways. We're going to do something with tissue paper. Now, you'll have to check with mom and dad again to see if you've got tissue paper at home. But we don't have to use glue or anything. We just need a tissue paper that's going to bleed. Oh, I know, tissue paper bleeds? What? Bleeds just mean that when it gets wet, the color comes out of it. So you may or may not have that kind of tissue paper at home. I don't know. You'll have to check and see. But if you don't have tissue paper that bleeds, then you can use regular tissue paper and use like a Mod Podge, which is kind of like a thin glue, or even a liquid starch, which is used to make your clothes nice and crisp. So you'll just have to check and see. But what we do is we spritz the paper with water, or if you got a brush, just brush it on. But these little water bottles really help out a lot. And then you'll go over it with a little bit more water. And you'll do the whole paper. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you go back over it with a wet brush and tap everything down. You don't want to brush hard because it'll rip the tissue paper off. But just make sure it's all down. Ooh, do you see how that color is starting to... That's what I mean by bleed. If you don't have that kind of tissue paper though, that's okay. Use liquid starch or Mod Podge or watered down glue. And you can just glue that paper permanently on top of your picture. You should still be able to see the Sharpie. You might need to go back over the Sharpie again once you've finished. So you'll cover the whole paper. You'll cover the whole paper up. Give it time to dry. And once it's had some time to dry, you'll peel off the tissue paper. All right, you'll peel off the tissue paper. My picture almost blends into my tablecloth here because I used blues and greens in my picture and a little bit of purple too. But you can use whatever you want once it's dry. Make sure that it's dry though, because whenever paper gets wet, it weakens the paper. But once it's dried, you can get colored pencils, markers, crayons, whatever you want to use, and go back in and add some detail. Maybe you just want to add a little bit more color to it. So that's a little bit of blue. And this doesn't have to be like a real turtle. You could use fire colors, like warm colors, red, yellow, and orange. You could use cool colors. You can use neutral colors, browns, blacks, grays, whites. Anything you really want to do, you can add to your picture to really make it awesome. But we don't want to cover up all this beautiful color in our background. All right, we don't want to cover all that up. We want to leave some of that showing through. So I'm not going to color everything because that'd just be silly after all that work we did to get the tissue paper color on there. But I'll just pick certain spots to add color. Maybe I'll add a little bit of a light blue. Now you might have noticed there was some paint, or there was some of the water on the table that had some of that reddish color from the one that I just did to show you as an example. And it seeped through, so I've got a little bit more red, but you know what? I don't mind that. I think that'll look really cool. So then I just go in my paper, add a little bit more color. Now this is the light blue. And you just add as much or as little more color to it as you want. It really depends on how your picture turns out. Sometimes whenever we put down the paper, there might be some kind of bubble or something in it that keeps the tissue paper from laying flat on there, and it might cause some white pockets on your paper, which can look really cool, but if you don't like them, you can always go back over it with marker. So I'm using a light green right now, and I'm just going to color in some of these closed kind of segments I have in a shell. I'm really happy with the way the color turned out from the tissue paper. So I'm not going to add a lot of extra color to my paper today. I think it looks pretty cool on its own. And as the artist, you got to decide, when am I done? If I feel like I'm done, then I'm done. Just stop. Sign your name and hang it up. I haven't been doing that in my videos. I should. We should always write our name in our paper, on our paper. I put it on the what I call the artist corner, which is the bottom right hand corner. It's where most artists sign their paper. So I hope that you can give this a try. Remember, if you don't have bleeding tissue paper, you can use a watered down glue, Mod Podge, or liquid starch to apply the tissue paper on to your picture permanently. And you probably will need to retrace your Sharpie marks, but that's not a big deal. And then you can go back over the tissue paper, even on top of the glue, with probably crayons might be best at that point, but you could try marker too. All right, have a great day. Have fun making some art. Bye.